Hello, and welcome back to If It Were Up to Us, the podcast where we reimagine, rethink, redesign the ultimate Disney theme park destination. I am your host, Chrissy, and this is my co-host, Stephanie. As always, Stephanie, how are ya?
I'm okay. I'm actually a little under the weather, so I
No.
really am just okay today.
Oh.
How are you?
I feel like I'm above water for the first time in a long time with the craziness that is life. Like I feel like life is not as busy as it has been, but at the same point, like I have been solo parenting. My husband's been out of town for the last couple of days, and so I finally like have a new understanding of like why he gets so anti me traveling by myself.
No, you did not just say that.
I know,
Take it
I know,
back.
I know. I can't believe I put it out there in the world. But yeah, it has been a crazy kind of week, and I mean, it never fails that like when one of us has to leave, one of the kids gets sick, or like we end up dealing with something we didn't anticipate. So, yeah, I am just I'm above water this week, but just barely. So,
Man.
but hopefully you start feeling better real soon.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully this doesn't keep you down for long.
Oh
Did
my
it come?
God.
I know your daughter was sick last week. Is it the same thing? Yep.
I think so.
Mhm.
And now me and my son both have it. And she like bounces back like, boom,
Yeah.
fine.
Mhm.
The rest of us are not so lucky. Like, what the heck?
It's just yeah.
It'll be okay. I think.
Yay for building immune systems.
That's right. Woo!
Okay, I know we're talking Disney Springs, Downtown Disney, today, but before we get into it, Disney released a bunch of promotions this last week. So I know that I spent some time working on or looking through the promotions and helping some of my friends get some deals. Did you venture into that at all this week?
Yes, it took all day to help
Yeah.
said friends.
I know, right?
I love Disney so much, but sometimes their system just cannot handle. And I think there was a lot of cards in play here. We have where kids are eating free in 2026, and that's stackable with other promotions, and they don't normally do that. And I think their just system didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
Like, it
it's
was
like
like,
cannot compute.
yeah, nope, sorry, we're not
Yeah.
allowed to like do that. But
Mhm.
yeah, it was a fun day.
I know. I ended up like going through a couple of them, and then I looked back and none of them had saved, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I don't know how or why, but or maybe it was just in like the 6 a.m. stupor that I was in trying to do it all, like real quick.
You didn't hit like the final
Yeah,
button on
maybe I
all
didn't
of
hit the
them.
right buttons. I don't know.
That seems a little nuts, but
I know, right?
maybe.
Like I feel like that wouldn't be the case, but maybe I don't know. So yeah, but all in all, friends saved money, and that's a good thing. So,
That's right.
yeah. And I mean, yeah, there were so many. There was like the 20% or 20 up to 25% off rooms. There was the up to $250 a night for
Yes.
4 day or 4 night 4 day tickets. And I know that like if you have a longer stay, that also applies. It just might not be that like pricing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I mean, annual pass holders even had one. Florida residents had one. They are really pushing, and it was a long window too. Like
January through July, which
yeah,
is insane.
it's crazy. Yeah, usually you see those like January through March, maybe April. So to have this one be that long is kind of crazy. So it'll be interesting to see what they end up rolling out maybe for summer next year and how that might overlap.
The last
We
two
shall see.
summers, there's been insane promotions. I think they're
Yeah, Cool
having a
Kid
hard
Summer
time
this
filling
past
rooms.
year, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
I wonder why that is. Maybe the heat.
'cause it's darn hot.
Yeah, no one wants to go when it's hot.
And I just think that like our generation that has these young kids that are perfectly aged for Disney are okay with them missing school to go on trips and stuff. We're not so much like, only summer vacations anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know I will be. I don't care what I have to submit to this school. We're going to go when we want to go.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, any other Disney news? I mean, that was pretty much the big one, I feel like, but...
This isn't news, but did you watch the little mini clip they put out of Josh Gad at the Haunted Mansion?
Yes!
It was so funny. I loved it so much.
I love all of his adventures into being like a cast member in the parks.
Yeah.
Like the Jungle Cruise one was hilarious. What did he do between that and the animal? The Animal
Yes.
Kingdom safari like person. Yeah. So
it was hilarious. Just some of them, and then people realizing like who it is. And
my favorite is when they try to tell their kids that's Olaf, and the kids are looking like, no, it's not. Like, what
exactly.
Are you
That's what I was just gonna say. Like they were closing the doors. They're like, yeah, that's Olaf, and he said, "I like warm hugs" or something.
Yeah,
because they were shutting the door. So funny. Man, I want to be at Disney when he does this.
I know. Can you just, Josh,
hilarious.
if you're listening, can you let us know when you're going to be there, and we'll
what ride you're gonna take over next?
Because I know Josh Gad is listening to our podcast for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Just Josh
he knows
and
our moms.
I love it. Yeah, I thought it was so funny. I love when they do that kind of stuff. It's fun.
It is. Was there anything else?
I don't know. I can't think of anything.
I didn't realize when we were recording our last Animal Kingdom one, the Boneyard's already closed.
Mm-hmm.
The playground. I didn't realize has closed. That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for new. Just wish it was Australia and not...
I know, right? If only they'd listen to us. Yeah, I just really hope that they incorporate some kind of play space, like
I think they will.
We need those.
I do. I think they will. I think they know how beloved the Boneyard was. I would imagine that they would.
I feel like, and I don't know what kind of construction they've done. I haven't looked at any construction photos. I don't know if they've torn it down like completely or if they'll retheme it into some kind of like jungle climb or,
I feel like they tore it down completely. I feel like I was watching a video and I don't remember seeing any of the structure left, but maybe they didn't pan enough to that side. I'm not sure. Not sure.
I haven't looked at all, so I couldn't tell you. Okay, should we take a quick break and then get into Downtown Disney Springs?
Sure.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into our dining, shopping, and entertainment districts in the parks. As you can see, I'm representing Disneyland. I feel we do a lot of talking about Disney World, and I just wanted to make sure that Disneyland gets a little bit of love today. I know we'll get into that when we kind of get back into our theme park builds, but I want to make sure we give some love to the other coast too.
Yes.
So that being said, when we're talking about Disney Springs and Downtown Disney and the way that these two districts came about, I went down a research rabbit hole again and found out such cool information about the history of Disney Springs and how it came about and how it has transformed into what we know it to be today. And I know you said you're kind of familiar with a little bit of this history, but I'm kind of hoping that some of our listeners are not as familiar with it, and I can share some of the backstory around both Disney Springs, and then I do, again, want to show some love to Disneyland, so I do have a little bit of history there. So if you will indulge me on a little bit of a Disney history tangent, I'd like to talk a little bit about that. Okay. So when we look at Disney Springs and its location, and if you're not familiar with where Disney Springs is, it's kind of at the southern end of the Disney property, if I'm not mistaken. But we really can't talk about Disney Springs without talking about the Lake Buena Vista community of the 1970s. So this was a spot within Disney that they really were kind of looking at when they were really kind of looking at making it an Epcot-esque, original Epcot-esque community, one that was owned and controlled by Disney. And it really was going to be a residential commercial space, not unlike Epcot was. And so this area, and it still currently is a municipality controlled by the Walt Disney Company, located between Village Lake, where Disney Springs is now, that kind of I'll call it like a little lagoon, and the man-made lake next to it. At the time, I think it was called Lake Buena Vista, and now I think it's called Blake Lake. The plan was to include residential developments, as I mentioned, and then golf spaces, tennis spaces, boating spaces, that would all kind of have somewhat Western themes. And so this, again, it was supposed to be a place where people were going to live and enjoy. And this was really a larger part of what Disney envisioned this Florida project being, a vacation kingdom. And I could get into a whole tangent and a whole other episode about this community and the vacation kingdom itself, but I won't do that here because that's not what we're talking about today. But yeah, it is very cool. So if you want to hear that, let us know in the comments. But basically, ultimately, we ran into the same issue that we did when we talked about Epcot, that there really is no way to control residents, and Disney wanted to have control. So to prevent residents from gaining voting rights that could block any kind of Disney expansion or plans, the focus from this space shifted to vacation villas, which would rotate residents, and eventually those villas were offered to corporate leasers and general guests at Disney, because at the time Disney did not have hotels. They had the few that they had when they opened Magic Kingdom, and really that was kind of it. But what ended up happening then is what we now know as Disney Saratoga Springs Resort, the Port Orleans resorts, and all of that. But so when you kind of look at the resort and areas, all of that was a part of this. There are elements that were built back in the 70s and 80s that you can still see today in parts of these resorts. But again, it's so interesting. I just want to keep talking about it. But we'll just get back to Disney Springs. So back in 1975, they opened up the area that is kind of known as where Disney Springs is now as the Lake Buena Vista Shopping Village. And again, this was basically a shopping mall for the larger planned city of Lake Buena Vista. It did not have obvious ties to Disney at the time, as it was intended to serve both Disney guests and the local community. However, they did have a shop that was called It's a Small World After All shop. So you could buy Disney collectibles and souvenirs at that shop. Just 2 years later, they renamed it to become the Walt Disney World Village, drawing a clearer line between the shopping area and the Disney Resort, and basically kind of pulling it into the Disney bubble. Then when they did that rename, they rethemed the space to give the shops a more European inspired look. And if you go to Disney Springs today, there's even something still there that you might recognize. At the time, they brought over the Empress Lily riverboat, which later became Fulton's Crab House and is now Paddlefish. So if you've ever come up to Disney on the or Disney Springs on the waterways, you go right past Paddlefish, and that boat was there from the beginning. In the 1980s, Disney was still looking for a way to keep guests on property for longer, and they noticed that a lot of guests were leaving to visit the popular restaurants and nightclubs in downtown Orlando. So they said, no, you don't need to go. We'll make something here. So they rebranded the space or the district as Disney Village Marketplace, and they expanded with Pleasure Island that opened on May 1st, 1989. The Pleasure Island included shops and dining, as well as nightclubs along the lakefront aimed at adult-focused entertainment. And what was kind of unique is that basically they gave guests access to all of the nightclubs for one admission price. So to get into the space, you had to pay kind of like a cover charge. And that way it was strictly for adults, or kind of the 21 and up crowd. It was loosely themed after Pleasure Island from the 1940 Disney classic Pinocchio, with its own backstory. And again, I won't get into all of it right now. But in 1997, Pleasure Island and the Disney Village Marketplace would be blended into one cohesive district that they renamed once again Downtown Disney. So shortly after that rebrand, naming the district as a whole, they broke it up into three sections. So, or I should say, the two sections. They had the marketplace area, they had Pleasure Island, and then they had a brand new west side that debuted, adding a third area within the space that had entertainment offerings like Disney Quest and the Cirque du Soleil show, shopping such as like the Virgin Mega Store, and dining options like Planet Hollywood. Very much a 90s vibe. Like, when I think about the 90s, that resonates. That whole west side, very much the 90s. But they ended up seeing a decline in Pleasure Island's like popularity, and ultimately that space, like all of the nightclubs and stuff, closed in 2008. And it really kind of made that middle section between the marketplace and the west side a ghost town with limited offerings. Pretty much I think the only thing that really stayed open was like the restaurants. And that stayed that way until 2013, when it was announced that the entire downtown Disney area would be overhauled to become Disney Springs. I love Disney Springs in its current state, and I love even more kind of the backstory behind it. Are you familiar with, like, before I get into it, are you familiar with it?
Disney Springs?
Well, like the backstory, or like, because they went deep into how this is themed.
I've heard why it's called Disney Springs, and like why the spring is important to it.
Yeah. Basically, it was basically given an in-depth backstory focused around like the Disney Springs, with inspiration taken from several real coastal towns in Florida. They rebuilt Pleasure Island. That area is now called the Landing, which is like the town's nautical hub. And that's where we see like the boathouse and the Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar. The marketplace was rethemed to appear as if it was like developed in the 1930s with like that craftsman style architecture that we see on the buildings today. And, you know, basically, they built it around a fictional spring. So if you're walking through Disney Springs, you'll come across an area where the water is like weirdly blue. And
like the Caribbean.
Right? So yes. It's so pretty, but like you're kind of like, I remember the first time walking through there being like, why is this water so different? But again, I didn't know the backstory, didn't appreciate it. So, and then now the West Side was also giving its own theme, with having supposedly been kind of part of like an expo, a town expo in the 50s. And that's where we see the pedestrian bridge that crosses over to like that section of the district where we have like kind of the outskirts. So that's where you see like the Lanuba circus tent and or the Cirque du Soleil, which I think is now Drawn to Life is the show that's there. But like then you have like, you know, Splitsville Bowling Alley, the movie theater, and some of those other like offerings. So yeah. So that's kind of how Disney Springs has transformed since it started. How do you feel about Disney Springs? Is this a must-do on your list when you visit?
It is. We love Disney Springs, especially for the food. It has like the best food, the best quick services. In fact, I may not have visited the parks until 2016. That's the first time I went. But I had been to Disney Springs in 2015. So I went to Disney Springs before I went to any other place in Disney.
Okay.
And when I went in 2015, it was June 2015, there was a ton of construction going on. There were so many walls up and everything, but I just remember I think we went there after we had already eaten dinner. Yeah, so we didn't eat there on that trip, but we went into the Disney store and all of that, and that was like my first Disney experience. And I don't know what it is about Disney Springs, is that the sunsets are always the prettiest there. It's weird. I have so many really good sunset photos from Disney Springs.
Yeah, that is... I love Disney Springs for its... just like its offering. I mean, the daytime, like shopping, eating, like I said, quick service stuff. Our first day on a trip is usually a Disney Springs day. Like, we get in, and if I don't go right to the park, like, we get in, we go to Disney Springs, we'll have a quick service. You know, it's a day, especially if I have like an early flight. That's like one of my favorite things to do, is go to Disney Springs then, and then go back later in like the trip so that I can do some souvenir shopping, in case there's something that like I saw in the parks and I passed over, because usually World of Disney has it too.
Yeah, I will say we're definitely a daytime Disney Springs family. Like, we like to go like basically right when it opens, because at night, especially on the weekends, it is so busy.
It's very busy.
It's like wall to wall people, and it's just not a vibe. Like, I'm okay with wall to wall people in the park because they disperse
like,
eventually. There's
like
no dispersing there, and I'd rather go during the day. Go to Dockside Margarita and sit in the nice comfy chairs and drink a margarita.
See, and I'm a Disney Springs at night person. I know it gets busy, but there's just so much, like, it feels like a very lively place, you know? Like, it
is.
Yeah, it's, granted, I will say, I have not been with my children, so I might like, it might be a different vibe if I went with my children, but when I'm on a solo trip or when I'm, like, adults only trip, Disney Springs is where it's at. We went and stayed at Port Orleans French Quarter, and we took the boat there, like, every night, because you can just go, you know, grab a drink at a bar or one of the various, like, beverage stands and walk around, have a drink. Yeah, I really like Disney Springs a lot. Okay. And I will say, like, I still refer to it as Downtown Disney too. Like,
see, I don't, just because I'm pretty sure, when did Disney Springs officially like open? Did you say that?
That is a good question. I don't think I have that listed on my...
I feel like it was like 2015, 2016.
I think it was too, because I know it was still Downtown Disney when we were there on our honeymoon in 2013.
Let's look it up.
Or maybe it wasn't, because I know we went and ate at Paradiso. I forget what the number is, but 32? I don't know.
37.
37, thank you. I was like 30 something.
That's the first place I think we ate there. Because, you know, no research. So it was officially reopened with its current name on September 29th, 2015. So it just had its 10-year anniversary.
That's crazy. Look at that. And they did nothing. Rude.
Yeah, bring back the drone show.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I don't know why
like,
they didn't. It's
seriously.
Really
well,
cool.
And you know, one of the things I learned about was that Pleasure Island, they used to celebrate like a New Year's Eve every night with its own fireworks show. Like, give us some nighttime entertainment like that at Disney Springs. I would love that. For real. Did you ever get to see the drone show, like, in person?
Yeah. Yep.
You did?
Yeah, last year, last July. So I got to see it. I watched it from my room at the Drury Plaza Hotel. I could see it from my balcony there. And then I watched it from the other side, because we were staying at Saratoga on the other end of the trip. And we watched it from Saratoga Springs, too.
Yeah, I would love to see. I have actually never seen a drone show before. Ever.
Yeah, it was really cool. They should really bring it back. I'm actually shocked that they haven't brought drones into maybe even, like, Epcot. Like, I'm surprised they haven't brought them. Because, like, Disneyland Paris has been
That's what I was just going to say.
For a while.
Yeah, because that's part of, like, their fireworks show. Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I think they brought it when they started celebrating the 30th anniversary or whatever, because I remember there being a big 30. So the drone show, they definitely
Yes.
need to bring it back.
Mhm.
They do.
I agree. Yeah, I want to see it, man. I don't know. It was such a short-lived thing too. Like,
It was. It was only for a few months,
yeah,
like May through August or July or something. I don't remember. But
yeah. And I don't really know if they gave a reason for why they weren't doing it anymore. But
what was it for?
that's what I was just trying to think. Like, I don't think it was in celebration of anything. I thought it was just a new offering. Or if it wasn't, like...
Because you know what? It probably did bring business into some of those restaurants that have the water viewing that maybe don't get as much attention. Maybe it was too much of a headache because
I was just going to say that.
Standing on top of the parking garages and all of that. Maybe it was more of like a logistic type of thing that...
Yeah, they don't really have anywhere to watch it from like you do at Epcot, where you've got that whole waterfront where there really isn't a lot. Like, there is stuff spaced all the way through.
Yeah, and they probably really don't want people like congregating on top of the parking garages because that's where a lot of people would watch it from. And then the traffic getting out is probably just... So bring it into a park. It worked. It was cool. You did it when you announced the Disney Treasure in New York. People liked the drones. Disney.
Bring back the drones.
And they're quiet, right? So they could totally do that in... No, they probably couldn't do it in Animal Kingdom. The buzzing would probably bother animals.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe that would be the one solution to solve or have like nighttime entertainment. Maybe. I don't know.
Or, you know, they have the electrical water parade. They could bring that down and put it to the Epcot resorts for a while and do like a drone show over Seven Seas Lagoon.
Yeah, that would be cool. Because you could even watch it from like Main Street at Magic Kingdom. You do the fireworks and then you just turn around over the train station. Drones. So cool.
We have all these big ideas. Maybe we should have been Imagineers.
That's what I keep thinking to myself literally all the time.
I didn't. Yeah, I better go back to college. My associate's degree is probably not going to get me very far.
Like, I have great ideas. I have zero execution.
Yeah.
Like, I could not... Because I feel like all the good Imagineers have, like, a skill that they can not only come up with the idea, but also, like, they're good animators, or they're good, you know, set designers, or they're good engineers, or car people, or whatever, you know? Like, I don't know that I have any of those skills.
Car people.
Maybe I could do costuming because my degree was in fashion design, but yeah, no. That does not apply to my big ideas, so.
No. Oh, well. We'll just judge from afar.
Yeah. Tangent, I was watching the Imagineering story to look up, there was like an episode that I was like, I know there's a fact in here somewhere, and so then I got to watching it, and I was thinking about it because Michael Eisner really was kind of like a big idea guy, and obviously he was CEO, ran the company, but a lot of the things that he wanted to do or implement or change, like him and Frank Wells in their heyday, like just so many big ideas, and I was like, I could do that. I could be the big idea guy. I don't want any of the other things, but just bring me in to be your big ideas. And then, but I suppose he brought his value in running the company, so that was his skill. Yeah.
And I don't want to do that.
I know. We talked about that before. I don't want to be CEO. I just want to tell you what to do. Maybe I can be CDO, Chief Designating Directional Officer. Like, I come up with the idea and then I say, go do it. Yeah. Isn't that what Walt did? That's what Walt did. He said, here's an idea, go run with it.
Yeah, and figure out how to pay for it. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you're for. That's not my, big
That's
picture
not my
person.
job. This is what I want. Make it happen.
Yeah.
All right, so do you have some history about our friend Downtown Disney?
I do.
Disneyland?
Our good friend in Disneyland. So, you know, there are so many similarities, obviously, between the two districts and the purpose that they serve. And so, rightly so, their kind of origin story is pretty much kind of the same. They basically, they wanted a space. Disneyland was also seeking to extend the guest experience and kind of, honestly, mimic the success that they saw with Downtown Disney in Florida in helping to allow for people to have longer stays, right? And so that's when they went through this, like, one park isn't going to do it. And so Disney ended up announcing that they were going to be expanding with an additional hotel, an additional theme park, and their very own Downtown Disney. But if you're kind of like me and thinking like, okay, but the whole problem was they had no space, how do they go about doing that when there's nowhere to build? They don't own everything. Well, much of the space around Disneyland at the time was a parking lot. And so what wasn't a parking lot was the Disneyland Hotel and surrounding offerings, restaurants, including the Monorail Cafe, which is where they eventually extended the monorail to stop at, and is currently still the monorail stop that we have now in Downtown Disney was where the Monorail Cafe was, and the stop that was there at the Disneyland Hotel. And like then they had shops and like a swimming pool and all of that. However, or I guess I should say side note, like Disney didn't own the Disneyland Hotel. Walt didn't have the funds to, or, the ability to build it or run it. And so he had worked with one of his kind of friends that he knew, and I could get into a whole thing about the whole history of the Disneyland Hotel, because that was also fascinating to me, especially now that I have been to the Disneyland Hotel. And so anyways, so Disney had to buy that, and because they didn't own the property until 1988, and so they couldn't move forward with any kind of expansion plans until they had basically the Disneyland Hotel and another third-party owned hotel called the Emerald Hotel of Anaheim. So before Disney could do anything, they had to buy those hotels. So once they had those hotels, that's when they started to think, all right, now we've got it. Let's do something with this space. So like I said, a bunch of it was the parking lot that was there for Disneyland. And really, once the plan they came up with was for Downtown Disney to act as like a promenade between the resort hotels and the two parks. And so in doing that, or their promenade, then they also had to create like a big pedestrian village over what is now Disneyland Drive to kind of link the hotels. The Downtown Disney area in Disneyland opened in January of 2001, like I said, as part of the larger expansion project, including California Adventure and the Grand Californian Hotel, which, if you've never been to that hotel or stayed there, the monorail line was basically, they kept the monorail line intact. They built the hotel around it. And so yeah, and then the Emerald Hotel of Anaheim eventually became what is now Pixar Place Hotel. So they kept like the tower buildings for those hotels. So there are 3 kind of identical looking buildings at the Disneyland Hotel. Those were original Disneyland Hotel buildings, and then they just extended onto where they had like the convention center, I guess it's a convention center, and expanded onto that just recently with a 4th hotel that does not look like the other 3. And what it ended up doing then was kind of orientating the hotel to face their, the original entrance to the Disneyland Hotel was not where it is today. And so that oriented it to this new district. And then they were able to rename the Emerald Hotel of Anaheim. I think at that point it was Paradise Pier Hotel is what they had called it, and then they built the Grand Californian around the monorail track, and those are the 3 properties now at Disneyland. And then there's the promenade. In doing so, though, because they got rid of the Disneyland parking lot, they had to build parking garages. And upon its opening, the Mickey and Friends parking lot was the largest parking structure in, like, the United States.
Wow.
Yeah. So, fun fact for you. Yeah. And now it has, like, its own little tram thing, and you can take the trams from the parking lot over, and, yeah. Obviously, we have been to Disneyland and Downtown Disney together. What are your opinions of Downtown Disney?
It's cute.
It's so cute.
No, No, I like it. I love the setup. I actually think it's so cool that you don't really even realize that you're on a bridge over top of a highway. Like they really hide that really well until you like peek around just enough to see the cars passing under you. But I like that whole thing that you walk out of the hotel, especially because my last night there I stayed at the Disneyland hotel, so I walked back and forth from it often the last 2 days. But like it's nice, you walk through all of those shops and you can get your Starbucks and stuff before you even get into the parks. I love it, which is why we kind of want to change how our destination's gonna look.
Yeah.
Because of this.
Right? Like we are for it. Yeah, I loved the fact that, like, especially in a place like Disneyland where you can very quickly be disillusioned to the bubble walking outside of a hotel. And so for them to have created this like promenade between the parks and to have the shopping center and the hotels, like it really does, especially as somebody who is a Disney World, like Disney World is my home park, like it makes you feel like you are in the bubble. Like you're not on the streets of Anaheim, which can so easily happen if you walk out the front door. So, yes, right? Like I love it. And it brings that like idea of like everything is kind of walkable, and you don't have to get on a bus or plan for an hour between, when you leave your resort and get to a dining reservation or,
yes,
which is, I know, the luxury of having a smaller park. Or a smaller like resort destination. But yeah, I love it. And to your point, I think we both are in agreement that we would love to create something like a Disney Springs Downtown Disney and let it be our hub of our destination. Yeah. That is one of the things that I said, like going back to our Magic Kingdom episode, the way that you can go from park to park in Disneyland and have that like hub, right? And not have to get on transportation to get into like the Magic Kingdom. That was one of the things that I said I wanted to remove out of the equation. And so in our park, if it were up to us, I think our new hub or space between the parks does become like our Disney Springs area, and then everything can kind of stem off of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Which do you want to kind of? I know we talked a little bit about it before in what we were kind of thinking as far as like what this looks like, and I think we both were kind of in agreement.
Just picture, I think we both kind of said this when we were talking about it, picture what Epcot was supposed to be and kind of that whole in a circle type thing. We have our Disney Springs in the middle. And you could also have like some green space too. And maybe some of those smaller resorts kind of sprinkled in just here or there. And you can even put some water in there. But nothing that's going to make it hard to do it. And then you'd have the park stemming through the resorts, the parking kind of off behind, and you can have like little monorails take you from the parking lots to the center, and that's where security and everything is, and then go off. Yeah. Like go off to all of your parks.
And once you're in, like I feel like the concentric circles and kind of the radials make the most sense when you're thinking about kind of a walkable park. And if you have your hotels, you could still have a monorail that goes around the whole thing and stops at each theme park, and and then kind of Disney Springs, and then all the hotels would connect to Downtown Disney or
you could
Disney
walk
City Center
everywhere if you would like to.
Yeah, I love that idea. Or if you don't want to walk, I will say one of the things that I was in my deep dive of Disney Springs, and again, we kind of look back at what Epcot was supposed to be in the transportation methods. They were going to have their own version of a people mover in Lake Buena Vista community, but it was going to be so cool. The idea was that you get into basically kind of what looked like a mixture between a Skyliner bucket and a people mover car. Okay, so it wasn't open like a people mover car, but the shape of like the bottom half of a people mover is like the bottom half of this, but and then it would have like a roof over the top that looked a lot like the Skyliner roof. Okay, so picture that. You'd get in and you would push a button. So it's still on a moving belt, right? Like a omni-mover system, but you'd push a button, and what would happen is basically that there would be offshoots to directly where you wanted to go,
like a Willy Wonka elevator.
So like yeah, exactly. And so then it would just offshoot you into, like, you'd be on the track, and then when you got to your destination, your car specifically would go to where you wanted it to go. You didn't have to make a bunch of stops anywhere else. You just went. And I'm like, yes, I want that. Give me that. Yeah. See, and remember, there could be a whole thing on just this alone. But anyways, so yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Let's talk a little bit about what is in both places. I asked our honorary producer to tell me a little bit about what kind of shops and things are in both places, and kind of give me a little bit more background in a quick time. And so there are some things that are found in both Disney Springs and Downtown Disney. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go 5. Let's say there's one that is kind of, but not really. So let's say 5 things. Can you guess the 5 things that are located in both?
Well, I'm gonna say the Disney store,
like World of Disney,
Starbucks.
Yep. Okay, yeah.
Was that
wasn't one of my 5, but yeah.
Okay, all right. So yeah. I'm still at 1. Earl of Sandwich. Is that on your list?
That's not on my list. No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. These are shops, not.
Okay, only shops. Okay.
Yes.
Did Downtown Disney have like a?
There's kind of like 5 big ones.
A Disney style. There's a Marvel store. I'm trying to think what else there is. Picture.
Yep. Do you want me to just tell you?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want you to give up early if you don't want to. We could still.
No.
Okay, yeah, World of Disney. There is, I think, a Lego store in both locations,
yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Like a Star Wars themed shop,
Launch
whether it's like a Trading Post, Galactic Outpost.
Yeah.
There's like a Disney Home. Technically, yeah. Disney Home is located within like the Marketplace Co-op, but there is a place for just like Disney Home decor stuff. And then the last one was pin trading stores. So,
yes.
We
visited them on our trip.
Yes, we did. Because pin trading. There is also like a sweets shop in both places. Yes. There's like the confectionery over in Disneyland, and then Goofy's Candy Company, which also has like their own counter where they make different things, like they do out in Downtown Disney. So both places also have a crossover in like non-Disney branded things. Sunglass Hut, or a sunglass store, which like maybe it's because I wear glasses, but I'm like, I can see the appeal of buying your sunglasses, but why is like a sunglass store so essential in like the Disney parks? Like there's one in Magic Kingdom, there's some in like Disney Springs, and I'm like, why do we just have sunglasses everywhere? And then I was like, oh, well, maybe it's because not everybody has to bring their sunglasses from home. Or has like a weird thing about losing their glasses.
Yeah, that. I'm going to buy a pair on my next trip just for you.
Please do. But don't lose them, because they're expensive and you can't replace them. No, I guess that's why they have them, because they're not that expensive and you can replace them if you're not blind.
And they all lost theirs or forgot them at home. That's why they're buying them on their trip.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Your mom would not have that.
But you are right. There is an Earl of Sandwich in both locations. A fun fact for you about Disneyland is that they were originally at one point talking about doing a like 4th hotel, and part of that was going to use up some of the space where the original Earl of Sandwich location was. And so they closed the Earl of Sandwich and one other store to try to make room for it. And then I don't know all the details, but due to a dispute with the city of Anaheim, they had to scrap those plans. And then Earl of Sandwich came back in its current location. Just a little Earl of Sandwich fun fact.
I do wish that Disneyland could figure out a way to incorporate Pixar Place, because it is just kind of off to itself over there.
Yeah, because you can't really, I mean, you can, but yeah, it's not connected really to the...
You'd have to go through Grand Californian or into Disneyland Hotel to
get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Well, we'll solve for that in our park. Or in our
for sure.
destination.
Not going to have a hotel just off to itself. Yeah. Poor thing.
Okay. I will say, like, I do enjoy taking, like, the water or the boats to and from Disney Springs. So, I mean, I know we've kind of solved for the need for that, but I do love a good, like, boat ride in Disney. We can have
waterways, yeah. The people that don't want to, be up above, we can have a little, like, moat.
Moat. I love it. A moat.
We're putting a moat in.
We're putting in a moat.
The Disney moat.
Anything else that's like on your list? Can we talk for a moment about? Well, you didn't go, so maybe we can't. Disney Quest.
Yeah, it was closed. It might have been. When did it close? Because maybe it was there my first time ever going.
That's a good question. I do not know that off the top of my head. Yep, have a little Google.
Disney Quest.
I don't, like, here's the thing. I feel like I could get so much into just, like, having our own thing all about Disney Quest. But, so I don't want to get too much into it, but
it closed, I know it was July 2nd, 2017. So it was there.
Yeah, so it was there. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. And then it closed, and then they put the NBA experience in, and then COVID happened, and that closed.
Yeah, and now there's nothing in that building.
No.
Did
they announce something for that, or no? Why do I feel like they did, but maybe not?
Did they? Have another Google.
Have another Google.
Because everything you read on the internet is true, by the way. Yeah, I don't think
so talk to me about Disney Quest.
Okay. So Disney Quest was built and added on as part of the West Side expansion for Downtown Disney. And really the idea behind it was that this was a virtual theme park. So this was its original flagship location, and then they were going to put Disney Quests in cities around the country so that people could kind of who couldn't get to the parks would have their own virtual Disney experience in these other cities. There was only one other one that was built and like actually opened, and that was in Chicago. There were 2 other locations announced. I think one was Philadelphia, and I don't remember where the other one was, but those never ended up coming to fruition because it did not do as well as people thought it would. Or Disney thought it would. But I think a lot of it ends up, their poor choice in location for their one that was not in Disney Springs. And then to have kind of a virtual park experience within Disney Springs when the parks are just moments away kind of, I think was... But for people who remember going, there were lots of really cool and unique experiences. It was kind of like a part arcade, part, virtual experience thing. They had like, at one point, like the idea behind it was to update it more frequently. I think like something like every 18 months or something, like something really crazy. And that never happened. There was only one update that was ever done, and it was a virtual Pirates of the Caribbean ride that was added in. And that was really the only other update that they ever did to it. I would love to see them bring back some kind of Disney Quest thing, especially with how much virtual reality has evolved. And to have some of that kind of stuff.
They did announce what they're putting in the NBA building, the old NBA building. It's level 99 is what it's called, and it offers 60 themed challenge rooms, duels, and art hunts that test your mental and physical prowess. Gather your group for a fun day at this place designed to test your skills. Work together to conquer the challenge rooms, earn rewards, and climb the coveted leaderboard.
You said
From
level
solving
99?
mysteries. Yeah. From solving mysteries in an ancient temple to walking a pirate's plank to beating a giant pinball game, there is something to discover behind every door. Your team will only have 4 minutes to beat each challenge, so be prepared to act quick. And it says it's supposed to open late 2025 or early 2026, and it looks like it's a franchise type thing.
That's what I was just Googling, and it does look like it has other locations. Interesting. Kind of Disney Quest-esque, except not Disney themed. But yeah, lots of like different like games, and that sounds cool. I like that. I'm for that. Should be interesting. Yeah, very cool. Okay, so we've talked about, is there anything that you for sure would want to bring into our Disney Springs? Because obviously there's a lot. I will say, when it comes to like comparing, we've talked about what they have in common. Obviously, I think when it comes down to like the stores and stuff, Disney or downtown Disney is very much Disney like themed. There are a lot more Disney like branded stores and stuff, and like there is definitely a lot of Disney to be seen there, where there's a lot of like high-end retail and so many restaurants in Disney Springs, and third-party like stores, not Disney branded stores, that we see in Disney Springs. Is there anything that you would specifically bring to our shopping, dining, entertainment district, and anything that you would leave out?
Haleo, Deluxe Burger, Polite Pig, the Boathouse.
Mm-hmm. Those are all bring in or keep.
Absolutely keep.
Yeah.
I just want to put Haleo in my backyard. Please. Mm-hmm. There's probably more. Obviously, we need the World of Disney.
For sure.
Store. I'm trying to think of other stores. Glow, I would bring.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. I would definitely have the Lego store still there. Maybe that's Lego. The boy mom in me, but Star Wars themed Lego. Store for sure.
I want Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique.
Yes.
Because let's open the one back up in Disney Springs. Disney. Okay.
Yeah, we need a secondary location for that experience, for sure.
We do. What was the other one that I had in my mind when I said, the photo studio, I think is cool.
Mm-hmm.
That you can do at Disney Springs. I'll probably bring Gideon's because I know it has a following, but I'd rather just go to the cookie bar at Summer House on the Lake and get them quicker. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like my husband's cookies are better than Gideon's.
I have never even like been in, had any of them, but it's just too much. I don't need
too much hassle for a cookie.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. Yeah. And honestly, not to get off on a tangent, but we went to Summer House on the Lake, their cookie bar, on this last trip, and they will cut up their cookies and give you can buy a cup so you can taste them all. So much easier. You don't have to wait in line. It's just much better. And I also don't need like, I don't know. Gideon's is cool and their theming is cool and stuff, but like, I'm not virtual queuing up for a cookie. Not doing it. Okay, Starbucks. Joffrey's, because I like that the Joffrey's at Disney Springs, you can put a picture on your phone. I don't ever get a coffee that you could do that with, but that's cool. What about you? What are your like?
I don't really, definitely, I'm on the same page with you. Definitely World of Disney. I'm not an adventurous eater, so like Haleo is, I have eaten there. It's good. It's fine. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything that like there's always like churro carts and margarita stands and stuff like that. Like I would want to have that in our Disney Springs, downtown Disney, whatever we call it. And I don't like I would like to have less high-end shopping experiences. You go to Disney, you spend a lot of money.
It's not an outlet mall.
Right, yeah. It's not an outlet mall. Like, we just don't need...
I totally agree.
yeah, there's like this section of Disney Springs that I feel like has just like a bunch of high-end stuff, and like I just don't we don't need that. We don't need that.
No.
Not that we don't like Sephora, like I'm happy to have some of those things, in, but when I go to Disney, that's not really what I'm shopping for.
No.
So,
and like if I forgot my makeup bag, I respectfully probably take an Uber to like Target or something. I'm probably
we could bring in a Target.
To...
I would not mind a Target in our space, because you know what? People forget things, and
yeah, that's right.
You wouldn't have to. What is it?
Pay an arm and a leg.
Yeah, to have it delivered to your.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love the little Target in Flamingo Crossings area.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember the first time we ever met in person, that like the hotel that we were at is right by it. My husband and I got really drunk and walked over there one night, and no joke, because I was like, we weren't like ridiculous, but we were definitely toasted, and I needed an outfit for like our dinner, and I didn't have anything, so you should have just saw us at this Target, and it's little and cute, and like we just spent all this money on nonsense, because like you just do. But I just remember that night, it was really funny. Yeah. And then we came back to our hotel, and we had been at Disney Springs, and they have like the tea company or something there.
Yeah.
And they have like a spice section, and my husband, he likes to cook, and he bought these spices, and he opened up the one truffle one to smell it, and he spilt it, and our entire hotel room smelled awful, like truffle. It was horrible. And he did the worst thing you could ever do. He put hot water on it, and it made it worse. And like we had just come back from Target, we're tipsy, our entire hotel room smells like truffle, and meanwhile my father-in-law had our two kids down at the pool, and so he comes up and he's like, what is happening? Because Alex is like gagging, or I'm spraying my perfume, and to this day, anytime I wear anything that smells like the perfume that we use to cover up the truffle, he gets so mad about it. Okay, that was a tangent. Yeah, a Target. Bring it to Disney.
I love it. Oh my god. That is so funny. So funny.
It was we talk about it all the time. It was traumatic. It was a very traumatic experience. We do not like truffle.
No, I don't. Yeah. Nope. No, thank you. I don't need that. Mm-mm. Anything that you would specifically leave out? I mean, I know I talked about the high-end
Yeah, I
stuff,
agree with the high-end stores. Yeah. I guess if I had amphicars or whatever, the little amphibious cars, I wouldn't make them so expensive.
Yeah.
Maybe not the balloon. I don't know.
I
Seems
hate
gimmicky.
heights, so I'm not doing that. Yeah. Would you bring any kind of character meeting opportunity into your...
That's a good question.
Or character experience? Maybe there's like a dance party that happens or something, that you get at like the after hours that maybe you could have over there.
Or like even just some cavalcades that drive through. Maybe not a specific, like you stop and get to like, hug the characters, but like some sort of cavalcade that kind of comes by. Because I still want my Disney Springs area to be free to visit. Yes. I think that's one good thing that Disney does. It's free to park at Disney Springs, so you can go in. These families that necessarily can't spend 4 park day tickets, and they maybe only do one, they can still get like some Disney by visiting Disney Springs or eating at one of the resorts.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's great. So yeah, maybe some sort of cavalcade parade thing.
I love that idea. Entertainment offerings.
I've never seen the Circus Soleil there. I don't know if I'd keep it or not.
I have not either. I feel like I would keep it just because it is kind of like it is something else to do.
I like Splitsville. I think Splitsville.
Yeah,
good.
That's what I was just gonna say. Is I would leave, or I would do I'd keep the bowling alley, because I do think that's, especially if you're going for maybe a longer time and, maybe you're not visiting the parks, or you're a local and you want to come over too. Like, I think that would be great. And then I was just going to say something else. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see some more like different kind of shows. The movie theater I could give or take, but I would love to see them do maybe like either discounted Disney classics, like, or and have that be like a thing that they do at the theater, or have like a day where like it's like a preview show. You know how they have like if you're on a cruise ship and there's a movie coming out, you can see the movie like on the cruise ship. I would love to have them do something like that there. Or just something special for like Disney movie premieres, which I don't think they do because I think it's just a standard AMC
Yeah, me too.
theater.
I think it's
But
just
yeah, and then I love the like live music and different stuff that they have going on there. So definitely having that vibe in the park. I love the idea of a cavalcade though, or in the district. All right, what are we calling it?
Downtown Disney. I don't know. What other name would you... I don't think we could do Springs unless we bring our little Springs
Yeah, no.
storyline in.
Mm-mm. Yeah. The only thing that I could kind of think of, and I think I just like said it off the cuff earlier, but it does kind of make a little bit of sense to kind of pay pay homage to like the original plan of Epcot if we're doing that. Like it was going to be, I think it was going to be called like the City Center, so like Disney City Center, or I mean I guess Downtown Disney kind of says the same thing, but I'm good with just keeping it Downtown Disney too. All right, we'll keep it Downtown Disney. Becomes less confusing, then everybody knows what we're talking about. All right, anything to add?
I think so. What's next?
My goodness, what is next? We do this every time, but I do at least have this one kind of queued up. I think
Q&A.
yeah, is
it our
Q&A.
Q&A?
Yep.
right,
So next week we're recording some questions and answers. We've put out on our social media the last couple of weeks, like, ask us what do you want to know? Ask us any kind of questions. So if you have questions about Disney, if you have questions about us,
Our opinions on Disney.
yeah, our opinions,
Our hot takes, I'll give them to you.
yeah, make sure to put them in the comments. Send us a message. We wanna know what you guys want to know and answer those. And then we're also, I think, gonna talk a little bit about some Disney resorts too, if we've got the time. Because we haven't touched on that quite a bit or at all, but I think it's a good segue from what happens after our Downtown Disney. Where do we go and what does that look like? So yeah, we're going to talk maybe about some of our favorite resorts, some that we don't like at all, and yeah,
So if it were up to us,
well, you'll just have to listen.